the racial and gender dimension of this. And the only way that you can...
1 year later, let's take a look at 2024 CNN election coverage. Enjoy.
But even with that drop, Aaron, female voters are voting at a higher rate than men in all 7 of the battleground states we're watching. Look at this right here. The orange bars are female voters and the green bars are male voters. You can see here in these key states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada.
I suppose you could say that would be a good sign for Kamala. She won women, not by very much.
Well, for the second time in the past decade, a woman on the top of a major party's presidential ticket has failed to secure the White House. While Vice President Kamala Harris, the first woman to ever hold that office, did secure the majority of female voters, she had less support among women than the past 3 Democratic presidential candidates.
But what happened in all 7 of those swing states?
We won Pennsylvania, we won Georgia, we won North Carolina, we won Michigan, we won Wisconsin, we won Arizona, we won Nevada.
Moving forward a bit, we get some information on Pennsylvania.
One source familiar with the ongoing voting situation in Philadelphia in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania says that they are happy with the turnout that they have been seeing so far, particularly in the northwest wards of that city, that heavily Democratic city.
I mean, I think we all know what happened in PA.
Jenny, is that him?
Chang.
Just want to say this.
BRB, Chang, because they just called Pennsylvania for Donald J. Trump.
Moving forward a bit here, we'll get a few more takes before and right at the beginning of the results starting to come in. Then, as you'll see, CNN and everybody really starts realizing Trump is doing well.
But I do think that she has been pretty skillful at sort of charting her own course, hitting issues like democracy, abortion, and enough on the economy that she's building a hopeful coalition. And what these don't reflect is people's view of Donald Trump as a person and the character of his leadership, which is where the hopeful nature of her candidacy is playing against his.
Was she building a hopeful coalition, though? I don't think what I'm about to show exactly correlates to what he said, but even Kamala has admitted just recently, actually, that she did not appreciate how much people wanted to know there was a difference between her and Biden. So a hopeful coalition, I just don't know what people exactly would be hopeful for. Just more of Biden?
I didn't fully appreciate how much people wanted to know there was a difference between me and President Biden. I thought it was obvious. And I didn't want to offer a difference in a way that would be received or suggested to be a criticism.
And some of the early projections we're seeing show a momentum that I think a lot of Americans are feeling, that this Trump era may be coming to an end.
Wrong.
That is
wrong. And he did the wrong thing. Wrong.
That is absolutely
wrong.
Proved.
Look, I mean, he should be scared in Pennsylvania because there is an energy, there is a surge. Look, you talked to me a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I'm chewing my fingernails down to my elbows. I'm just worried. The Puerto Rican vote by itself has been...
Here, this is later in the night. Watch CNN's own exit poll on Latino voters. Trump did fantastic with Latinos.
I went back through the exit polls. There have been exit polls since 1972. No Democrat has had such a small lead as Kamala Harris has right now in the history of the exit polls.
That Puerto Rico comment or joke from the comedian seemed to have had maybe no impact at all. If it had any impact, very minimal. Van Jones, by the way, has a few very bad takes towards the end of this video. Here we are now, a few hours later in the night, not looking great for Kamala.
Yeah, Jake, let me just give you a gut check here about what we are hearing here as we've been sitting here reporting from the Harris headquarters. And I think the operative word right now is silence. There's not a lot being said because the Harris team appears to be searching for bright spots in the map.
Searching for bright spots is pretty funny.
I am told that Milwaukee and Detroit and Philadelphia, that is what the Harris campaign tonight is holding out hope for, more votes to come in. They have always said the blue wall was the most straightforward path.
The blue wall. I'm going to play here a 2016 clip of Trump celebrating winning the blue wall. This is one of my favorite clips ever. It's not from 2024, but here we go.
And we won Wisconsin, and we won Michigan, and we won Pennsylvania, right? And that person is doing the map. And that person was saying for months that there's no way that Donald Trump can break the blue wall, right? We didn't break it, we shattered that sucker.
I mean, maybe they should rename the blue wall the red wall. It's sort of corny, but maybe.
Now it may be the best, not only at all, because Georgia is also something that is developing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I still hear from Harris aides that they feel good about Georgia, but it is very, very close.
NBC News projects that Donald Trump will win in Georgia when all the votes are counted. There's the breakdown right now, 118,000 vote margin. But again, Donald Trump, the projected winner. This is a big call.
Moving forward again in the night to this crazy viral moment with John King and Jake Tapper.
So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
Classic. That's just a classic moment. Just total shock from Jake Tapper. Literally nothing. And not long after that viral moment occurred, this happened. Obviously, a major development in the evening.
Thank you so much. And we have a major projection. CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Okay, we'll finish now with basically some post-election takes. It's not technically called yet by CNN, but as you'll see, it's trending in one direction, the race.
I think probably there are a lot of Americans out there watching who are trying to make sense of tonight and trying to figure out why this happened. And I know that there are those who think that this is a manifestation of ugliness among their fellow Americans. That this is a vote for bigotry, and this is a vote for misogyny, or this is a vote for racism, etc. And
why? Why would they think that? Like, I actually think Republicans, conservatives, for at least 10 years have been twisting themselves into pretzels to not appear racist, to just say like, hey, these are my conservative beliefs. This is what I think. But I actually think lately people are just being like, screw it. If you think it's racist, like that word has just lost all meaning. A lot of people now just do not care when they hear stuff like that.
I'd love to hear from Van on this, but let's be honest about this, okay? Let's be absolutely blunt about it. There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country. And anybody who thinks that...
Again, the right, in my opinion, for 10 years has been twisting itself into knots to be like, hey, I believe this, but it's not racist, and it didn't work. It was still called racist. Like, which part of the Trump campaign in 24 was racist? Was it when he called, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs?
A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Is he not like allowed to report on that? If he thinks that was happening in Springfield, what's he supposed to do? Be like, oh, but the people that they're accusing of doing this are not white, so I can't say that? Like,
but like I do think it's bitter in the mouth, the racial and gender dimension of this. And the only way that you can kind of begin to see it if you don't see it right away is, can you imagine a woman of color acting like Donald Trump acted, even for one day? The kinds of stuff that he said, the kinds of things that he did, the way that he would insult people. If you're a person of color, you don't feel you have that freedom. You feel like you...
What does that mean?
Really are somewhat constrained. You're always running something in the back of your mind like, how am I going to be perceived? And also, if I say this, will they think that all black
That's everybody. That's how I feel every time I say anything. You're obviously somewhat aware of how you're going to be perceived. That is not something that's specific to women of color or to minority people, like people of color, whatever.
people are this way or all women are this way? So there's a license that he had to just be a fool, just to be an obnoxious ass to everyone. And for people to go, well, he can still be president. There's nobody who doesn't have that phenotype that feels that free. And so I do.
Look, President Trump has been criticized more than anybody in my lifetime, and it's probably not even close. So you say he has license. He took criticism from all corners of the earth constantly to share his beliefs.
Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth just wrapped up what is likely the most disastrous and awful speech in front of military generals and admirals in United States history. I'm not exaggerating.
How American media covered Donald Trump's stupid speech to the United Nations was really pathetic. And this fool is still going on and on and on. We're going to figure out, who turned my teleprompter off.
This was supposed to be an easy interview. This was supposed to be a softball with Maria Bartiromo. But even with the editing, even with the makeup, even with the cuts, Fox couldn't edit out Trump's decline, Trump's confusion.
Like, it's not like Trump just got through the last 10, 15 years without being criticized. He was, like, obviously all his legal stuff. There was so much Trump has gone through. Okay, last take I'm going to include from the CNN election night. It's Harry Enton. It's a take I basically agree with.
You look at the exit polls right now. Donald Trump is winning among voters who made less than $100,000 their family income for the year, while Kamala Harris is winning those who made $100,000 or more. The bottom line is Donald Trump has flipped politics on its head. It is a realignment. It's a race realignment. It's an education realignment. It's an income realignment. It's even...
That's very interesting that Trump is doing well with that group below 100K and Kamala did better above 100K. He totally has flipped politics around. I think Trump can do well, though, with both groups. It's just, I also think that's part of the problem of what happened in New York recently with the Mamdani election.
Desk can now project New York City has elected Democrat Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani to be its next mayor. Now, he will become the first Muslim mayor of the city and its youngest in more than a century.
I blame the Democrats who have been in control of that city. It's so expensive there. People just voted for like a socialist. Mamdani, that's going to be my next video, but I consider that like a indictment on Democrats because the Republicans have not been in control of New York City in a while. And all right, just because I'm such a nice guy, such a charitable guy, I'm going to finish the video off with a take Van Jones gave a little bit after the election itself, which I definitely, for the most part, agree with his take here.
Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime. And we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that take. The most of it, like, just the part how the left still will say, how did Trump win? How could Donald Trump, the reality TV star, win? He's just obviously very, very good at politics. But anyway, with that said, I'll finish the video. Hope you enjoyed it. 1 year later, CNN election night. Like the video, subscribe. Have a great day.